What is the biggest thing that makes people different? Is it their DNA? You can make the nature versus nurture argument. Could it be their personality? They might be well driven and motivated. Or it could be their history. I think that's up for you to decide. Good afternoon. My name is Michaela Simpson, and I am a senior at BCLEW High School. These questions pose difficult answers. It's a known fact that you're made up of your DNA or genetics that you inherit from your parents. This, unfortunately, makes me short. And as for my personality, I'm a person who values effort and good work ethics. I believe that I'm capable of anything that I really want to be. All these things combined with where I grew up, my interests and future plans, and my family and life adventures is what makes me me. I challenge you to think about what it is that makes you you. I think that memories and history is what has truly created who I am today and gives me the ability to look forward into what the future holds. As I mentioned, I think a part of what makes up you is where you grew up. I grew up in the small town of New Providence, Iowa. This is actually a picture here of my old house. It is a small town, about less than 200 people population-wise, and I made some interesting memories there. I had a friend who was actually just a year older than me, and oddly enough, from that small town, we were both named Michaela. But we used to love to play this game called Veterinarian. And so we would do weird things like collect worms, locust shells, and create habitats for frogs, which sounds kind of weird to me, but, to this day, I still want to be a veterinarian, and she is currently going to Ellsworth Community College to become a DNR officer. At the age of 11, my family and I moved to Conrad, Iowa. I've been going to the BCLEW school district my entire life, though, so it really didn't change too much. And my dad, who is also a teacher there, he's a BCL grad, so he knew the area really well, and so it wasn't too difficult of a change. I have many hobbies and interests. I love to read, I always have. One of the very first books I remember reading is Harry Potter. I read it in first grade, and I was hooked after that. A series I really like today is Cassandra Clare's The Mortal Instrument series. It's beautifully written, and for me, sometimes I can't get past it when a book isn't written well, and I know it's bad because sometimes my friends will be like, hey, this is a great book, and I just can't get past it, and so this one's a great example of a really good book. I'm also an avid Netflix watcher. I love the sitcom Friends, and I also watch different things from Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, and Criminal Minds, so I get a pretty wide genre of books and movies and TV shows, so I'm not too worried about what their genre is. Other recreational activities I enjoy include shooting my bow and arrow. I've greatly improved since I first started. My freshman year, I got it for Christmas. I also played volleyball since the 4th grade, and I absolutely love it. And I've been golfing ever since I can remember. My dad's the head girls golf coach, and so I just kind of grew up with it. I also enjoy traveling. I went to Chicago last year for the science club trip. They go every year if you're in an advanced science class, so usually junior or senior, you get the opportunity to go to Chicago. So I went last year and absolutely loved it. But we go again in April, and so I'm really looking forward to it. And going even further into the future, next fall, I plan on going to Iowa State. I'm planning on becoming a journalist major, and hopefully I eventually get my graduate degree in veterinary medicine. Currently, I'm working at a vet's office here in town. It's also a kennel, so I walk dogs there. And despite the first day I worked there, I'm still working there. The first day, there's these latches that are on the kennels, and so if there's a big dog that can jump on the kennel and eventually lift that latch up, so you just have to put a bolt through it. But it was my first day working there, and I did not know that yet. And so I came back the next morning, and the dog had peed all over all the kennels, and so I had to clean all that up. But despite all that, I am still working there, and I actually really enjoy it. And so to me, my dogs personally are like my family. And so actually my family and I travel a lot to New Mexico to see my brother. He lives there, him and his wife. He's a member of the Air Force there. He works on Kirtland Air Force Base. And so last summer when we were driving down, we decided to take our trailer with us because my brother wanted his motorcycle down there. My dad thought he'd take his down too, so they could go for a ride through the mountains. And about 6 or 7 hours into our 18-hour drive, a leaf spring broke in the trailer. To this day, I'm not quite sure what a leaf spring is, but I just know that it is important. We broke down in a small town right outside of Wichita, Kansas. Um, it was actually right by a winery, which my mom would call a small blessing from God based on the situation. And so my dad went in, asked for directions, and of course bought her a bottle of wine. And we tried to follow her instructions. We went into this town, and we got a hotel room because we were driving around and we couldn't find any place because, of course, it was Sunday, so nothing was open. So we researched on our phones, and the next morning we got up, we drove back into Wichita, and we finally eventually found this auto shop that would do it for us. And so we ended up leaving about 2 p.m. the next afternoon. So that was a slight delay in all of our plans, but we got through it. I've also been to Texas, which is actually my first time flying. It was pretty fun. We went there for my brother's boot camp graduation. And then I've also been to California, the Dakotas, and North Carolina, just on various family trips. So despite all these disasters, if you want to call them that may have happened along the way, there are also amazing parts to each of these experiences. And I'd love to continue to travel, explore my interests, and enjoy my family as I move forward in life. And I would like to ask you what it is that you think makes you uniquely you. What is your story? I believe that learning about our past, our interests, and our future goals are vital to getting to know someone. What do you think?